Uh, Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to another episode. My name is Trevor Bayer, and in this episode, I'm going to be brief, and I'll be talking about just highlights of my experience in whatever I'm about to talk about, and why you should put the blunt down. So, marijuana, or popularly known as weed. This thing is very popular in our society today, and especially in the Gen Zs and the millennials. A lot of people usually smoke weed, and it's acquired by, we call them in Kenya, plugs. And from my experience, when I stepped out of high school, I had a clique of friends who introduced me to smoking marijuana. And for some reason, at first, it doesn't look like something serious. And you go into this roller coaster of laughing frenzies. You go into this roller coaster of having fun. Everything seems very interesting. Time becomes time is slowed down, and you enter into this capsule where you enjoy being with that clique of friends. But today I want to talk about the spiritual ramifications of smoking marijuana and why you should stop smoking marijuana, and for that fact, why you should stop smoking in general, tobacco smoking, or why you should try as much as possible to get rid of your addictions. So we'll start by going into this Bible verse, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 to 20, and I'll read from the New King James Version. This is when Paul was writing a letter to the Corinthians, and he said, "Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own, for you are bought at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." So this verse emphasizes the importance of caring for our bodies. And I remember I used to have this narrative when people used to talk to me against smoking weed. I used to tell them that, I mean, God created this herb, it's naturally occurring in the it's naturally occurring, like it's not like alcohol where people have to mix chemicals. But in reality, God created so many things that if used wrongly can harm your body. And one of the bad things about smoking marijuana is you are not sober. You are in this roller coaster of being high, and the devil usually advocates for this, because if you notice in most of the hip hop songs, if you notice in most of the modern music, a lot of the artists usually just have marijuana, and they promote this agenda. The reason why this is so is because it slows you down, and once you are high, it's very hard for you to enter into prayer. You lose out in terms of prayer, you lose out in terms of concentrating to read the word. Sometimes I feel like marijuana also gives you a portal into the demonic. Some people, if you check out on YouTube, have had these testimonies where once they induced marijuana, they enter into some interactions or experiences that trigger them to have like demonic encounters, like astral projection. So I challenge you, dear viewer, to put down the blunt. It's not going to be easy at first. And one question you need to ask yourself is, in our country, Kenya especially, we call it a chain. When people smoke and pass around that circle of friends, you call it a chain. Why is it called chain? I feel like it's because it locks you up, and you need to look for you need to look for a way to get out of this chain, break those chains. So one thing you should do to overcome smoking marijuana is to first accept that it is not right for you. Stop fighting that, because a lot of people, including me, before I overcame it, I used to say that, man, this thing is not bad. It's not like smoking cigarette. And I used to compare cigarette. You look for the lesser evil. You're trying to make it sound like the lesser evil. But in reality, is marijuana will slow you down. Marijuana will make you lose out in terms of your spiritual journey. When you check out in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, it says, "Be sober and vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." So this verse specifically addresses the need to be vigilant against spiritual attacks. Another thing is God usually communicates through dreams also. And one thing I noticed in my experience as a stoner back then is once you smoke weed, you have these literally have less dreams, and you miss out in the spiritual benefits of that. That's why when you're on a journey to overcome marijuana, you start having these vivid dreams, and they sort of look like reality and demonic attacks. So I know there are some people who talk about the benefits of marijuana in terms of the medical, but again, you need to understand that you are not a medical practitioner, and your usage of marijuana is not medical per se, and I'd say you are abusing it. Those people who are using it for medical reasons have done research and known which components to extract from the plant and which components to retain. So I call you to enter into this, and the first thing I would like to advise you, if you want to overcome smoking in general, is to quit cold turkey. Cold turkey means you do not quit slowly. You need to get to a point where it angers you. You need to get to a point where you feel like you need to overcome it like immediately. So when you quit cold turkey, it means that it's not like I'm gonna slow down my usage. I was smoking 5 blunts and smoke 3 tomorrow, then 2, then 1. That's lying to yourself. You need to go into a cold turkey mode where you quit immediately, and just like you were happy with the while you are inducing it, now you need to deal with the pain of trying to overcome the addiction. So for me, in my personal experience, I got to a point where I was I started asking myself, am I going to smoke this for the rest of my life? You wake up, that's the same thing. That's the thing you think about. You smoke in the morning, smoke in the afternoon, go to your friends, smoke with your clique. It's just like a crazy experience with smoking of marijuana. And so for me to overcome this, I decided to go into prayer. I decided to go into prayer and fasting because I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. So I went into prayer and fasting, and I cried to the Lord, and I told him that you're the one who created me, and I found myself in this addiction, and I don't know how I'm going to get myself out. I became vulnerable with the Lord and literally just cried to him and told him that I need to overcome this, because most of the time we usually say that I'm not addicted, I just like using it, I just like using it. Sometimes if I decide to go for 3 days without it, I'm okay. But the fact is, you need to accept that you are addicted, and you need to be vulnerable before God and tell him that you need to overcome this. So I went into this state, and I prayed and I fasted for sort of, I think it was like 18 days fasting. And I remember after the fast, one of the experiences I had is the thirst or the craving for smoking was lifted from me, and it was gone. And I call you to go to God with fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer is so powerful, and that's why I decided it to be my first video and the first topic that I talk about, because without fasting and prayer, it becomes very hard to tackle some demonic strongholds. Howbeit, this kind only goes out by prayer and fasting. That's Matthew 17:21. So I went into this period, and by the grace of God, God lifted me from this. But now here's the caveat. I did not change my environment. I had the same friends that I was used to smoking with. So it's sort of like understanding that the Bible is not mistaken when it says that bad company corrupts good morals. I literally just found myself back again. And to change your behavior or to change your way, when God delivers you from anything, you need to start by even changing your environment. Change your friends. It might be hard to cut those ties. It might be hard, but you need to change your friends, change the people you hanged out with, because there are some friendships that are only built particularly on that. Like, you guys are friends because you guys stone together. So you can imagine you telling them, I stopped stoning. Everyone will be like, stop messing with me. You take this blunt and maybe do one puff. So I literally went back into the stronghold again. And the Bible says that if let's say you have like demons, and then you go back to if you have demons and then you're delivered, and then you go back to your vomit like a dog, then they might come back and even come back stronger 7 times. So I used to have that within my heart, and I used to fear so much for this to happen. So eventually, I think by the grace of God, I used to keep going back to the word and keep praying and saying, God, you need to deliver me from this. And then eventually God managed to give me a different environment. And with that, I literally became, I'd say, I went into monk mode where I wasn't smoking marijuana anymore. And it transitioned me it catapulted me into my career. There are some things you think you do best when you smoke, but actually if you stop smoking, you'll notice that, wait a minute, I can do this thing even when sober. Like, I have this false mentality that because I'm a rapper, I only write good music when I am high. So once I stopped smoking marijuana, I used to still write good music even when I'm sober, and I used to write even good poems when I'm sober. So I call you today. I know breaking these addictions and breaking these chains are not going to be easy, but you need to go unto the Lord, ask him to give you the grace to overcome. And just like I've said, quit cold turkey. There's no time to say I'm gonna be smoking less and less every day. Just quit immediately, and then go into a fast and deal with the pain until you emerge from the other end strong. And believe you me, once you emerge from the other end, you'll be happy and joyous that you partook that journey. And now, every time you feel the urge to smoke, go and pray. Pray about it. Pray about it and try to overcome. And another thing is, I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. It's going to be hard, actually, but you have to deal with the pain. You need to deal with the side effects for you to overcome this thing. Because trust you me, you will end up smoking it for the rest of your life, and it's not going to benefit you in any way. So I call you to this. I want this video to be short, but I'm going to expound on this more as time goes by in my subsequent episodes. Thank you for watching. Cheers.